Not a YouTuber, just like making videos, and like making informative videos at that. Now, I wanted to refrain myself from talking about the death of Nelson Mandela and so forth, but I must release this information that I know to those who are who want to know. Now, I'm not trying to take away from Nelson Mandela's accomplishments and all the great things and his bravery, his heroism and so forth, but we have to gotta look at it like this way. I'm like, when he went to jail, he had a whole lot of fire, he had a whole lot of vigor, and then it seems like when he got out of jail, people celebrated, he held some kind of power, and then he kind of died down with a whimper. You didn't hear about him, and then he dies, and he's back in the he's back in the news again and so forth. But from my understanding of some of the information that I've gathered, I've known this for a while, that when Nelson Mandela was in jail, they were slow poisoning him. They were turning his brain into mush. They was making him docile. There's a man by the name of Randall Robinson. He's an author, an activist, Harvard-educated lawyer. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know who this guy is, I suggest you go out, when you have the duckers, go out and get one of his books. I'm like, he written a book called The Debt, where he mathematically broke down on why the U.S. government owes black people slavery, reparations for slavery. But him and his team helped get Nelson Mandela out of jail, or fought for him, to say the least. He went down to South Africa. This is a dude who makes major power moves. And he did a lot of work. I'm like, they wasn't just gonna let him go, just like that. But when he got Nelson Mandela out, Nelson Mandela was supposed to go to a dinner with him and Bill Clinton, and Mandela stood him up. Matter of fact, Mandela did not even want to associate himself with Randall Robinson. Now, the thing is with Robinson is a very radical thinker. I'm like, even though he's a soft-spoken person, his mind state is very similar to that of Khalid Muhammad. I'm like, he pulls no punches if you read one of his books. But I guess the white power that was in South Africa, felt that this dude, Randall Robinson, was just too dangerous for Mandela to hang out with. So, hence, Mandela did not kick out the regime that put him in jail in the first place. So yeah, this was a different Mandela that came out of jail, that went into jail. And a lot of people was very disgruntled with him. With Randall Robinson, he felt that Nelson Mandela betrayed him and gave him the cold shoulder after all the work he did for him. I'm like, even his wife, Wendy Mandela, the sister soldier of the political South Africa, I'm like, she divorced him. She divorced him because she knew that was a different man that went into jail. Matter of fact, Mandela wanted to shake hands with his oppressors. And she was like, no, I'm not shaking hands with them, and so forth. And Mandela made this excuse on why he kept these white people in Africa. He said, well, he didn't want Africa to be another poor black nation, another poor African nation. But South Africa had all the wealth. The white people was there because of the wealth and so forth. So what he said didn't make sense. But yeah, that's the reason. As I said before, I'm not taking away anything from Nelson Mandela or his compliments, but I do feel my own hypothesis that something happened to him when he was locked up for 27 years or so. But the thing is, when you look at the apartheid in South Africa and this evil regime that was there, we don't see a face. You see, take the Arab world, Saudi Arabia and these big bad Arabs and Middle Easterners that are oppressing their people. No, we know who they are. We see their face. We don't know if they're as bad as Western media portrays them out to be. Because I don't I don't trust them. You know what I'm saying? As far as I can throw them. But we see the face. We know who Saddam Hussein is, the Ayatollah. We see the face. This is the system that is in power, that oppressing people, and we see their face. Hence, but when it came to South Africa, or when it came to these white oppressive governments in Africa, we don't know who they are. We don't know their face. We know that they're white people, like they're just these generic white people that are just doing stuff, and we have to help these black people out and so forth, without taking out the white people that are in charge. Hence, South Africa, the people that reinforced apartheid in South Africa, they should have a face, but we don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? Why don't we say that here? This is the white guy that's in charge of this, who put Nelson Mandela in jail. Hey, let's send a sniper team to kill this dude, get Nelson, and free South Africa by using military intervention. We did it in a lot of other places. You see how everything is just how we're brainwashed. We don't look at things logically. I'm like, we need to know the face of the white oppressors in Africa. We need to know their names. We need to know who they are, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Moving on. Now we're going to go into Idi Amin and so forth. You know, I know they say he's a bad guy. He's this cannibal or whatever. Even gathered up enough information on him to make a conclusion on whether this guy is good or evil. You know, I'm like, they say, oh, he oppressed his people, he killed and tortured people in his country and so forth, and he's this big bad African dictator, he was a cannibal. But I'll go into the movie Last King of Scotland. And people, you know what I'm saying, it says based on a true story, but no, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? They took, I would say, real characters and made a fictional story out of it. Real characters in real places, so forth. You know why I know The Last King of Scotland, that movie was 90% Boulder Dash? Because if you actually buy the special edition DVD, the producers and the directors will tell you that. You know what I'm saying? The stuff in that movie was fictional. You can't take that movie any more seriously than The Never-Ending Story. But in this movie, you know what I'm saying, you had the white dude, our white knight in shining armor, our white protagonist. He goes over to Africa, they help the poor Africans and this and that because they're in such disarray and so forth. He befriends Idi Amin, and Idi Amin, he long strokes and bones his Idi Amin's hottest wife and so forth, and then Idi Amin captures him and beats him up, and he escapes by the hair on his chin. I would say that it's a good movie. It's entertaining, but it's inaccurate, and it makes black people seem like savages and so forth, you know, or these black people of these African nations. Now, I'm not assuming that every black people in America is direct descendants from Africa and so forth. I know my history, we were all spread out and so forth, and you know, these people could be a completely different people from us, but still, you know what I'm saying, bear with me. For instance, there was a part in that movie where when Idi Amin found out that, you know, one of his wives was, you know, cheating. When he found out, you know, Kerry Washington was cheating on him with the white boy, she killed him. He killed her and cut her arms off and replaced it with her legs. Replaced her legs with her arm sockets. You know what I'm saying? Very gruesome scene. That never happened. Even Forrest Whitaker stated that wouldn't happen. That's just something they added into. And they added that in the movie, or put that in there, to make Idi Amin seem more of a monster than what he is. You know, to make, you know, Africa just seem like, as I said, this horrific place of these, you know what I'm saying, savages and so forth. I'm like, and also, if you bought the DVD, the special edition DVD of the movie Last King of Scotland, and you ain't got it on bootleg, there's a part in there where they say that, yes, one of his wives did have an affair behind his back with one of his chief of security, was a black man, you know what I'm saying, an African man. So yeah, she cheated on him with a black dude, you know, but he did have some a Scottish doctor and British doctors, and they were probably just older dudes. There wasn't no young dude who looked like he was a cast from the member of the 70s show. So hence, if I knew that this movie that they took, you know what I'm saying, that they stated was based on a true story, was just filled with a whole lot of fiction. So how can I believe anything they said, the popular media say about these so-called African dictators and so forth? But Hollywood's known to do that. You know what I'm saying? Even like the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was not based on a true story. You know what I'm saying? They took real news articles of murders and then they just mixed it all up into their own little magical bag, and people actually believe. That's why, you know, can't take Hollywood seriously. Now I want to talk about Mugabe. This dude, you know what I'm saying, the president of Zimbabwe. He's also a guy that people have stated that is so bad and so evil and so forth. And as I said, I don't have enough information about this guy to make a solid conclusion. I'm like, yeah, Mugabe was a guy who fought against the oppressive white minority in Zimbabwe and kicked him out of his country and gained power. Now they say he's so evil that people are poor and this and that, and he has all this money and he's torturing people and killing. The killer part is the way they talk about these dictators and these rulers and these African nations or even South American nations. You can apply that with here in America. You know, when you see poor people and how much disarray and corruption there is, and you can sit there and say, hey, yeah, these people in power, these white people, these white politicians, it's their fault. No, here in America, we actually blame the poor people. You know what I'm saying? We blame the black people. We say, hey, it's your fault that you're doing stuff. But when we go to these countries, we focus. Of course, people look at Africans as savages and not fully developed human beings. I understand that. But we look at the people in power and place 90% of the blame on them and why these people are all fucked up. But here in America, we just blame the poor people. Why? Like, hey, you had your chances. You can go out there and get you a job. You can get you an education. You know what I'm saying? It's your own fault and so forth. Don't blame the white man and this. And I'm not saying that the white man's fully to blame. That, yeah, sometimes the people have to take personal responsibility. But so hence, when I look at some of these third world nations and so forth, Africa or South America, when I see these poor people, why can't I just say, hey, maybe there is opportunity for these guys to get work and they don't want to work? Why should I blame this totalitarian government, and why not just blame the people? I'm like, hence, if there's a Zimbabwean or a Nigerian or a Mexican that can make his way to America and better himself, you know, why can't this dude do it? You know, so. But also I want to talk about the president of Haiti. You know what I'm saying, before Haiti collapsed. I don't know if he's still in charge, but Aristide. Now I know for a fact the media paints Western media paints this guy as a demon, and I know that this is a dude who is elected in office twice from a Democratic election twice. So how can somebody who's been elected in a Democratic election where people took votes and got elected be such this bad guy? Elected twice. If he was this bad guy, there's no way they would have voted for this dude and so forth. But yeah, I'm like, so I'm telling you guys gotta read books. You can't rely on this westernized media machine and so forth. So yeah, I know, I can almost guarantee that Aristide is a good guy and so forth that did a lot for his people. But Haiti is sabotaged by them sellout Dominican Republicans who come over here and think that they're black, and the French government and other factors that's trying to keep Haiti poor and so forth, and denied and was supposed to give Haiti all this money and so forth, and denied them and reneged on it and this and that. Now I want to switch gears here and talk about this realm of YouTube. I want to talk about Tommy Sotomayor. I know. Why am I? Since this is the world of YouTube, most people who watch my videos are familiar with him. I'm going to just play with his ideology. Talk about how much of a hypocrite he is, you know what I'm saying? And how hypocritical his fucking followers are. Now, Tommy says this stuff about a black genocide. There needs to be a purging of the black nation. We need to get rid of these wretched black people and so forth. Or black civil war. Now, I know that Tommy's full of shit, that Tommy himself don't even believe in that. But, you know what I'm saying? This guy talks out of his asshole. He doesn't know half the shit he's saying, and also, yeah, he mispronounced words and so forth. So the more I watch him, the more I know that he's not nowhere near at the level of education that people claim he is. Nowhere near it, and so forth. But you know what I'm saying? We feel that there is this. We should eliminate and annihilate these wretched black people that's holding us down and so forth. Well, let's go back into these so-called African dictators. You know, when they talk about eliminate a part of their population that won't get their chops together, oh, we look at them as bad. These same white people that agree with Tommy Sotomayor and say these bad black people need to be tossed wayside. But if you have some African ruler or a ruler of some either Middle Eastern nation or, you know what I'm saying, South America, talk about, hey, we need a purging, we need to get rid of these degenerates so we can build a strong nation and so forth. They'll call him a monster. You know, they say, hey, Cody 2012 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Look at this guy, he's killing his own citizens and so forth. He's torturing his own citizens and this and that. You know, they want to rush to his aid or rush to the people's aid or talk about this. But then when Tommy Sotomayor comes up with the same rhetoric, we're all like, oh, you know what I'm saying, Tommy's right and so forth. So you see how stupid it all sounds, how ridiculous it is. And also when it goes into, and I'm going to have fun, you know, to entertain my thought of this completely, you know what I'm saying, idiotic theory, this thesis or whatever. And say, let's say there is this, well, we want to start up this genocide. First of all, you're violating human rights, you know what I'm saying, it's completely unethical and unconstitutional. So even still, we talk about, hey, Tommy got freedom of speech, we got freedom of speech. Well, wretched black people have human rights. So yeah, you might want to look into that, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that all sounds good on a Tommy Sotomayor video when people ignore, crucial and very crucial facts. Also, even if let's say we go into this make-believe comic book world where we eliminate all the bad black people, you know what I'm saying, open up the jail cells, eliminate them too. I'm like, you know, there'll be a new generation of wretched black people that'll spring up, you know. I'm like, do we eliminate these people and their children? Because, you know, they have kids. Their kids will grow up in the system there, you know what I'm saying, whether it be foster care and this and that. There'll be orphans and that cause even feed orphans and deal with parentless children, you know, that costs money, so taxpayer money. So yeah, that's an extremely flawed theory that comes to a dead end. But that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching, and sally forth.